Okay, and we are recording. So we'll go ahead and start to come to your place of practice this evening, um, making your way to your mat or wherever you're at for the night. And we are going to start in a very supported Suptabata Konasana this evening. So I'll walk you through getting set up for that, and then we'll start discussing the theme for the week, which is Virama. So for this Suptabata Konasana, I'm going to invite you to take your bolster, pillow, blanket, what have you, long ways down your back, where your back will be, and get it as close to your sit bones as possible. So right up on that tailbone, you can even kind of squish it down a little bit to get really cozy and good in there. And then have either your two blocks or two blankets that you can roll up as well for your knees. So making your way, getting that initial piece set up with the bolster, having your two blocks on the outside of your mat, one on each side, roughly where you think your knees are going to fall. Feet will come together kissing in front of you. I also like to recommend, if you have an extra blanket, you can set that underneath your feet. It'll raise your feet a little bit, but it just gives the blades of your feet a little bit of extra cushion, which can be really nice. So finding the diamond shape that your legs are going to make, pushing your bolster into your lower back, and then when you're ready, just gently laying on back, making any wiggles or adjustments that you might need, and using those blocks to find the knees or maybe up a little bit higher under the thighs, just playing around with them so that they're not creating pressure or any tension on the legs. Once you feel like you've got the lower half of your body set up, starting to bring your awareness to the torso and upper body, we'll begin by just dropping our shoulders open over the bolster. You can bring your hands out to your sides. That feels nice. Maybe dropping them a little lower. You can kind of snow angel the arms a little bit until you find what is the most comfortable in this position for you. So our goal in restorative is to find more ease than effort. So finding what's going to feel the most comfortable as we stay in this position for about 6 to 7 minutes. If you have to make any little adjustments along the way, that is totally fine. But as you're setting up, being mindful of even the pinky fingers and the outsides of the feet, just to find comfort so that you can glide into that ease. You can gently close your eyes. We'll start by just bringing some awareness to the breath. As you inhale, notice the space that you create in the belly and the chest. And as you exhale, letting your body relax a little bit deeper into the props that you have below you, supporting you. Being mindful of your breath, keeping the inhales and the exhales deep and long. As I had mentioned this week, our theme is Virama, which is a sacred pause. And I find that to be perfect when we're talking about restorative yoga, because that truly is what we're doing. We're finding a sacred pause. Although there is a time and a need to take care of worldly affairs, there's also a time and a need to shift from doing into being, from striving into arriving, and from grinding into allowing. As you breathe in this pose, what does a pause look like within your breath? Where can you find a sacred space before the next breath? On your next exhale, go ahead and release all of the air out. Take a deep inhale, fill all the way up. Open the mouth and let it go. Gently bringing the hands to the props that are under the knees. If needed, to move them aside. Just bring the knees up together towards each other, planting the feet on the earth below you. We're just going to roll through a side. Doesn't matter which one. Gently using your lower arm to help push you up and making your way all the way into a seated position. You have the option to take a blanket or a block and put it under your sit bones just to get a little bit of height in the pelvis. And we're going to extend our legs out long and slowly pedal the knees, pedal the ankles, maybe even roll them a little bit from side to side. Taking another deep, slow breath in. And a slow exhale out as you move a little bit more into some stillness. Getting our body ready for some twists. We'll do a few small ones. So we're going to lengthen the spine long and just take an inhale, lift the arms up overhead. As you exhale, a gentle turn to your right and let your arms come down. Perhaps the left hand finds the left thigh or the left side, or right side, right thigh. Right hand behind the spine. Just gently twisting or looking over to the right. Doesn't have to be an aggressive twist or a really engaged twist. Focusing more on the length in the spine and guiding the breath down as you inhale and up and out as you exhale. Your next inhale, slowly, gently just turning back towards center. We're going to take our right ear and just gently drop it down to the right shoulder. If this feels good, you can leave your hands here, or if you'd like, you can gently walk that left hand out to the left side to make that a little bit deeper of a stretch. Bringing that hand back in if it has walked away from the body and the head back up to neutral. Again, on an inhale, gently just sweep the hands up overhead, lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, turning towards the left, that right hand finding the left thigh. Left hand gently out behind you. Taking a very gentle twist to the left side. Where do you find pause in this pose? Where do you find a sacred space between your next breath? On the next inhale, just gently untwisting, coming back through center. Hands can come back to the thighs. We'll just drop the left ear to the left shoulder. And same as before. Option to keep the hands where they're at if you're feeling a generous stretch in the right neck or getting as much as you need tonight. Or you can walk that right hand out away from the body. Just getting a little more. Bringing that right hand back into the body and sitting the head up to neutral. I'm going to go ahead and set up for our next position, which will be a supine or a reclined twist. So I'm going to give a couple of different options that you can play around with to find which works best for your body tonight. Go ahead and move my bolster. So to start, if you have a blanket, I'll invite you to bring it towards the top portion of your mat or the space that you're practicing on. And with the blanket folded like a hamburger bun, if you will, so long, take the top portion of it and just fold it in about a third of the way back to make just a little bit of like a pillow for you, but still space for where your shoulders are going to fall on the blanket, if that makes sense. Then a couple of options. We'll start with the right side. So it might be handy to have that second blanket near your right side, or perhaps even your bolster. For the sake of the camera, I'll just use a block and the blanket. So for the top portion of your body, what you want to happen is you want to come down and have your shoulder blades or the top of your shoulder blades on the part of the blanket that's still relatively flat. And then the portion that you rolled up just a bit, you can use that to kind of fold in and cradle your head, if you will. So you can smush it towards your ears to kind of make a little pillow if you'd like, or you can roll it a little bit more to support the neck if that feels nice. Or if you don't like that at all, you can just get rid of the blanket altogether. But taking a moment to play around and find what feels the most comfortable on the upper thoracic and cervical spine and underneath those shoulder blades. So from there, once you get the top portion set up, our twist is going to come from our legs. So starting with twisting towards the right, I'm going to give you two options. You can keep that right leg out long. Actually, go ahead and either option you're taking, push into your heels and lift the hips up and over to the left just a little bit. So first option, you can keep your right leg out long, have your pillow, block, blanket, what have you, to your right side. Gently bend the left knee and lift the left knee up and over until it finds that prop. You might have to play a little bit to get it up to the height that you would need it, just to where it's comfortable. In this option, the right foot is relaxed, left foot is relaxed. You might even need to turn a blanket or a pillow so that it's supporting underneath the foot a little bit more. And the arms will come out to the side. That is a fairly deep twist for my body. So I prefer to take my blanket and put it on next to my right side, bend both of my knees and drop the knees over to the right, and then take my block or bolster and put it in between my legs. So there's a little bit more space underneath my right knee and the floor and my left knee and my right. So just finding which of those two options feel the best for your body today. And if you knew from the beginning, making your way into what feels the most comfortable. The options, of course, to leave the nose directly up towards the sky, or maybe you even drop it over to the left. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. And your exhales, letting your body release deeper into the floor below you. We tend to want to move to the next thing as quickly as possible in our lives and in our society. And we have pretty much been forced to find rest and find stillness as of lately. So allowing yourself to just let that be. If it's not already there, go ahead and bring your nose back up to center. We'll begin to take the twist on our left side, or the opposite side you were just on. So if you have a prop in between your legs, just simply lifting the top leg, bringing the foot down to the earth, removing the prop. And if that right leg is straight, just rolling gently onto your back. And then moving those props that you'll need over to the left side. And just being mindful that each side is a different story in your body on any given day. So allowing yourself the opportunity to set up on this side and it be okay if it's different than the first side. So again, taking your blanket, if you're going to have one, next to your left side, you can plant the feet and just lift the hips up and over to the right a little bit so it's easier to twist to the left. can keep that left leg straight and gently lift the right leg up and over the body so that the knee plants on a block or on a bolster. Or if you liked the option with both knees bent, dropping both knees over to the left, and then taking your prop, whatever it is, under the top leg, getting it situated so that you're protecting the left ankle, the whole right leg feels supported. And then bringing those arms back out to a T. Same option for the nose. You can drop it to the right if you'd like, or keep it up to center. Gently bringing your nose back up to center if it's not already there. Slowly lifting the upper leg and letting the foot find the earth. Moving the prop between the legs if you had one. Bringing that left foot or lower leg foot to the earth. Taking a moment to find a deep inhale, and a full exhale. before gently just rolling through a side to push yourself all the way up. This time we'll just come into a comfortable seat. So whatever that looks like for you. Again, option to have a blanket under the sit bones, or maybe just move the skin away from the sit bones. We'll do 2 brief lateral bends before we get into the pose of the week. So taking the left hand and just placing it down on the earth beside your left side. You're going to inhale, reach that right arm up and overhead, and then gently start to reach it towards the left. Getting a full stretch through the right side. Noticing as you inhale the expansion in the right rib cage. Fully exhaling, letting that go. Another inhale will slowly and gently lift you up. And then just bringing that right hand to the earth next to your right side. This time inhaling the left hand coming up. And then gently over towards the right. This time as you inhale, maybe notice the expansion in the ribs on the back of your body on the left side. And then one final gentle inhale to lift that left hand back up, bringing it down towards the earth. We'll just gently start to walk the hands forward in front of the body, finding a very slight forward fold here, not looking for anything drastic, necessarily any big stretch in the hip. If you're feeling any pain in your knee, you can back off a little bit. But just allowing the head to drop down to where it's comfortable within the neck. Again, as you inhale, notice that expansion in the back rib cage. Slight pause at the top of the inhale, and exhaling to let it go. Walking the hands back up towards the body. We'll set up for our peak pose this week, which is Shavasana, which is another perfect one when talking about sacred pause. So I invite you to make this the most relaxing Shavasana you can find. I'll give a couple of options for, again, that blanket to be under your head. If that didn't feel good, if you feel like you can relax more without anything under the head in Shavasana, feel free to just move it to the side. Don't even worry about it. If you have that second blanket, I invite you to bring it towards the bottom of your mat, underneath where your feet will go, big enough that you can wrap the top of the blanket over the feet if you would like, just to get a little bit of warmth in the toes. So getting that portion set up, again, starting from the lower body, the option to fold the blanket over the feet if that feels good. If that's not speaking to you, that's totally fine. Might need to move a little bit. As we come up, option to take a bolster or a rolled up blanket to put underneath the knees. Sometimes I like to roll up my blanket underneath where my ankles are, where it meets the bolster, just so that there's a little bit of extra padding. And then you can come all the way down to your back. So you can leave the hands out to the sides like you would in a typical Shavasana. Or if it feels comfortable, depending on the type of block or prop that you're using for a block that you have, you can bring it underneath the wrists to elevate the hands a little bit. So again, that's totally just if that feels comfortable. You don't want your elbow lifted up. You don't want any effort there. You want to be able to just let everything relax into what's supporting it underneath that body part. So getting any final wiggles out or any adjustments that you have. Closing the eyes if that's comfortable, or relaxing the gaze. Let the thoughts flow in and out of your mind as they'll come. But see if you can find more and more of a space between those thoughts. Through the sacred art of pausing, we develop a capacity to stop hiding, to stop running away from our experience. We begin to trust in our natural intelligence, in our naturally wise heart, and in our capacity to open to whatever arises. As you start to come out of your Shavasana, maybe gently and slowly wiggling the fingers, slow movements to the toes and ankles. Maybe gently opening the mouth, relaxing the jaw. And turning the head from one side to the other. Before gently rolling through your favorite side. And making your way up to a comfortable seat. The eyes can stay closed, the gaze low at the floor. Just taking a moment to notice the pause between the inhale, the space right before the exhale. I like to end each class with a breath together as a community. So on your next exhale, go ahead and release all of the air out. Begin to deeply inhale in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. Bring the hands together in prayer at heart center, the thumbs gently pressing into the heart, the slight bow of the head as a symbol of gratitude. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and allowing me to share my practice with you. Bringing the thumbs to our third eye center and bowing to seal our practice. Namaste.